Hey, welcome back. I'm Nan Ross, and this is the Agile Fundamentals, where we actually build your delivery skills one concept at a time. So today we're tackling a question, and I hear this constantly. What is SDLC really? Because here's the misconception. People actually think that Agile replaced the software development lifecycle. That's what SDLC means. But it didn't. Agile just made the loop smaller. So by the end of this video, you will know all 7 phases of the SDLC, and more importantly, you will see exactly how every single one of the 7 phases happens within the 2-week sprint. Once you see it, you can never unsee it, and you will understand where your role fits in this whole picture. So let's get to it. So what is SDLC? Well, it stands for Software Development Lifecycle, and is simply the path that every piece of software travels from idea to reality. 7 phases. So we have planning, which is deciding what to build and why it matters. Then there's requirement or analysis, getting specific about what the software must do. Next is design, where we decide how it will look and work. And then is coding or development, which is actually building it. And then is testing, proving that it works the way we say it would. And then development, which is releasing it to real users. And then maintenance, keeping it nice and healthy after launch, because software is never actually really done. So here's the key insight. These phases don't belong to any methodology. Waterfall used them, Agile used them as well. The phases describe the work itself. The methodologies just describe how it moves through them. And that difference is everything, as you're about to see. For decades, teams have moved through those 7 phases exactly once per project. This is Waterfall. You plan everything up front, you gather every requirements, you design the whole system, then you build for months, test at the end, deploy, and just hope for the best. Each phase actually flows into the next like a waterfall, and you don't go backwards. Sounds organized, right? Well, here's the problem. Real feedback from real users only arrives at the very end. If the market changed, if the requirements was misunderstood, if the users just basically hate it, you won't find out until after months of work, when changes are extremely expensive. So I have lived this in banking and fintech. A year of work, and the first honest user reaction will come months later. And there has to be a better way to move through the same 7 phases. And there is. So here's the idea that changes how you see all of this. Agile didn't throw away the SDLC. It just shrank it. Instead of running the 7 phases once over a year, an Agile team runs all of them inside of every sprint. And that sprint could be 1 to 2 weeks. They plan a small slice. They analyze its requirements. They design just enough. They code it, test it, deploy it, or get it deployment ready, and then carry the feedback into the maintenance and then the next loop. So the SDLC didn't leave. It just went through one giant loop to a small loop that repeats itself. That's what's called iterative. And that changes the economics completely. Real feedback shows up every 2 weeks instead of every 12 months. So course corrections are small and cheap instead of massive and painful. Hey, quick pause before we actually walk through our real example. If you like how we're breaking this all down, this is exactly what I do inside the Agile Product Delivery Lab. It is my coaching program. We actually walk through how work actually moves from idea to production, actually going through all 7 phases through multiple sprints, and you will be building an actual product. I mean, a real product that will be in production. So there will be real scenarios and real hands-on practice. So scan the QR code on the screen to book your free discovery call, and let's see how we can work together. The link is also in the description. So let's see one feature that travels the whole loop. Let's make this concrete with one feature. Say that you're building a healthcare app and the feature is reorder my prescription with one tap. Planning happens in sprint planning where the team commits to this feature. Requirements analysis is the user story and its acceptance criteria, such as a patient, I want to reorder a prescription so I don't run out of the medication, with clear conditions for what done means. Design is the quick decision. What does the screen looks like? Which API do we call? And what happens if the prescription expires? Then is coding, which is the developers building it in small pieces. Testing is QA checking the feature against the exact acceptance criteria and fixing the bugs inside the same sprint. Deployment is the feature shipping at the sprint end. And then we have maintenance, which is watching how real patients use it and then feeding what we've learned into the next sprint. 7 phases, 2 weeks, 1 feature. That's the SDLC, alive inside of a sprint. So why does this matter to you personally? Because once you know the phases, you know exactly where your role lives. And that clarity is what interviewers and team members can feel. For example, the product owner, it leads planning and requirements. They own what gets built and why, and they accept the finished work. The business analyst will go deep into requirements, turning vague requests into clear stories and acceptance criteria. Now, I know you're probably thinking, well, a business analyst is not really part of a Scrum role. It's not part of a Scrum role, but they are included in Agile as well, and they collaborate with some Scrum teams. Then we have the developers who own designing and coding, QA who owns testing, proving that the work meets the criteria before it ships. And we have the Scrum Master. The Scrum Master owns no single phase, and that's the point. But their job is to keep the entire loop turning and clearing whatever blocks it, which means that a Scrum Master have to have product delivery literacy and knowledge. They have to know all 7 phases because that's what their whole entire team goes through. So how can you lead if you don't understand everyone's roles? Just a thought. So when someone asks you in an interview, walk me through how work gets delivered, you now have a map. 7 phases, 1 sprint, and your role exact place in it. So let's recap. The SDLC is a 7-phase journey that every piece of software travels. Planning, requirements, design, coding, testing, deployment, and maintenance. The phases describes the work. The methodology decides how you move through them. Waterfall runs the loop once over months. Agile runs the entire loop every single sprint, which is why feedback arrives early, changes stay cheaper. And once you know the phases, then you know exactly where your role fits. So here's my question for you. Which phase actually trips your team up the most? Tell me in the comments because I read every last one of them. Before you go, one more resource for you. If you're trying to break into product management as a Scrum Master, a product owner, a business analyst, even an Agile project manager, and you don't come from a technical background, that's exactly who I built the Agile Product Delivery Lab for. It is my coaching program where you practice real delivery work from idea all the way to production. So we will go through all 7 phases at least 3 to 4 times, meaning 3 to 4 sprints. You will write user story, acceptance criteria. With the help of AI, you will also create prototypes and wireframing, run backlog conversation, roadmaps, and building an actual real AI product. You will lead with real artifacts, real confidence, and the real language for interviews and your team conversation. Scan the QR code on the screen to book your free discovery call with me, and let's see how we can work together. The link is also in the description too. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.